rightly said, we'll have a break and take this VAT bill. Mr. Speaker, my understanding was that we're going to have some form of winnowing on this VAT in view of some of the issues that cropped up yesterday. I have not seen such move. I don't want us to get there for matters to be raised as if one is obstructing or trying to delay. Sometimes such impression is created, and I don't like it. Mr. Speaker, we have been in government before. Our job as minorities is to support government when it comes to certain key policies for the governance of the country. That we commit. But Mr. Speaker, this VAT bill in its present form and shape, we would be hurting our country and the business community if we watch unconcerned and say we are going to pass it. Colleagues, no. Let's take our time. My respected friend, Dafia Mekpo, has been leading the winnowing. I would want to avail myself and that of my colleagues, Dr. Kabiru and Buamanyako and others, for us to sit. Honorable Deputy Minister, there is no rush. There is no rush. You have up to the end of the month, December, to get your appropriation and other things through. Let's not rush. Let's sit down. When you are in opposition, you call for broader consultation and consensus building. It's not a numbers game when it comes to bill, and you are going to impose tax. So please, let's not rush. Let's consult, let's discuss, and look at the teething issues, and not to introduce this and you want to rush it in, clause 1, clause 2, and say, third reading is passed. It will not pass. We're telling you.
Listen to the minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the concern of the minority leader, except to let him appreciate the fact that we have consulted widely. In fact, when the minister came up with the decision to amend the VAT Act and to actually bring an entirely new act, we started by consulting stakeholders. We have done a very wide range of consultation. We brought it to the House. It was referred to the committee. We have dealt with it in the committee. There was one issue that he raised yesterday, and we thought that we brought finality to it. We are open to other discussions if the minority wants some clearance on some of the issues. But the impression should not be created that we are doing this without consultation and that we are rushing anybody through. We have done thorough work, have engaged a lot of stakeholders, even outside the parliament. And so that impression should not be created at all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Listen to the minister.
Thank you.
Budget statement. And soon thereafter, papers were laid, referral made to the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee's report, when it was ready, the ranking on Finance Committee did not even see it. The deputy did not see it. Members on the minority side of the Finance Committee did not even see it. 3, the motion was introduced under certificate of urgency. So where is the consultation? Now, in the past, leaders would have the opportunity to peruse such policies, discuss it. Honorable Ampim, you say you have consulted and held discussions. I am right here. Tell me in the face whether this bill, I ever saw it, or even before you laid it, you gave copies to leadership. I'm here. Tell me in the face for Hansa to record that I am doing mischief. You cannot be introducing bills, policies under certificate of urgency and expect that we support you. However, if you think you have 189, you want to use your 189, so be it. You can get your 189, in this chamber, not less, meet the constitutional threshold, and do what you want to do. Let the people of Ghana see what you are doing. You are imposing new taxes on the people of Ghana under certificate of urgency, like you did in the 1 Ghana cedi per liter, the 18% on electricity tariff, and you expect us to be quiet. We will not be quiet. We will not be quiet. Our voices will be heard.
To look at them. What we are doing at home now is we recognize, every country just move forward. Okay? Yes, the past wasn't good, or the past was good, or whatever, but you are here. So what are you doing? What we are doing is to ensure that we are moving the country forward, facilities. And more importantly, even food. We live in the tropics. We live in the best part of the world, I think, living in the tropics. There's hardly anything that doesn't grow in the tropics. So why can't you grow your food? So we are trying to look at the basics, ensuring that we are putting a halt, if not a big break on the exportation of raw materials. We are trying to find ways in which you can process the raw materials, because that is where you get a lot of wealth. That is where the value rises. If it's all about exporting, then you are not going to get a lot of benefits of what you need. And the analogy I use is that, okay, so let's say you harvest your cocoa and you export it into another place. But between your harvesting the cocoa and exporting, there are some jobs you have created. But imagine if you were to process the cocoa and add value. So then what happens to your children? They are falling into the Mediterranean, trying to cross to get jobs you could have created at home. It's not an amusing story.
Building trust in our digital economy and protecting the digital rights of all Ghanaians. We are ready, we are capable, and we are committed to making sure Ghana's digital future is secure, inclusive, and prosperous for everyone. Today's lunch brings together representatives from the institutions that form the foundation of our national digital governance. Tomorrow's panel discussions will continue these conversations with representatives from the Cybersecurity Authority, the National Communication Authority, and the Ghana Digital Centers Limited, and the National Information Technology Agency, that's NITA. This collaboration shows the theme approach we need to tackle the cybersecurity challenges we face as a continent. We are essentially honored by the presence of our high-ranking government officials and distinguished guests from Egypt. Your participation shows Africa's shared commitment to strengthening our cyber resilience and building digital transformation we can trust all. As we begin this summit, let us think about practical ways to work together, share knowledge, and develop policies that protect our citizens while encouraging innovation and growth. The ideas and recommendations from this summit will help shape a more secure digital future for Ghana and the wider West African and Africa at large. Once again, welcome you all, and I wish us a productive and inspiring summit. Here is Accra, a city that embodies the spirit of New Africa. A confident forward looking for abilities and leading. Launch of first edition of the Future of Digital Countries, FDC Summit, here in Ghana is a historic step in the summit 7 years journey. This decision was not made by coincidence. It reflects a careful study and a clear strategic vision. Ghana is not only a country ready for digital transformation, Ghana is a true partner in shaping Africa's digital future. It has a political leadership with a clear national strategy for a digital transformation. A stable investment and friendly economic environment, a dynamic ecosystem of young talent and innovations of startup. A society that believes in the role of technology in the development. and a strong national commitment to cybersecurity and data protection. All these factors made Accra the ideal starting point for FDC expansion. Over the past few years, FDC has people-to-people relationship. Most of the Egyptian people knows Ghana very well. We are the two main countries who have UN Secretary General, for example. Only in Africa. We have Kofi Annan and Boutros Ghali. We have a lot of Ghanaian football players played in Egypt. Everybody in Egypt still remember Mehdi Bili, for example. And we are going together to the World Championship this year, second year. So we have a lot to do together. When I came and to present my credentials to His Excellency, the President of Ghana, President John Mahama, he asked to increase the number of Egyptian companies here in Egypt. Now, we are bringing Egyptian companies, Egyptian conferences, we are bringing Egyptian parliaments. Today, we have the chief of our African committee in the parliament is arriving today, and he will participate.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the concern of the minority leader, except to let him appreciate the fact that we have consulted widely. In fact, when the minister came up with the decision to amend the VAT Act and to actually bring an entirely new act, we started by consulting stakeholders. We have done a very wide range of consultation. We brought it to the House. It was referred to the committee. We have dealt with it in the committee. There was one issue that he raised yesterday, and we thought that we brought finality to it. We are open to other discussions if the minority wants some clearance on some of the issues. But the impression should not be created that we are doing this without consultation and that we are rushing anybody through. We have done thorough work have engaged a lot of stakeholders, even outside the parliament. And so that impression should not be created at all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm listening to the minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
the judiciary must know that their actions and inactions to serve the interests of whoever their paymaster is has the tendency of destroying our peaceful republic. We will not mince words. They can conspire to call us one by one for a so-called contempt of court. We are criticizing their shameful conduct. We are not afraid. We are ready to be in Nsawam for their so-called contempt. The world will see their disgraceful conduct. We will not sit aloof and allow them to undermine the very rule of law that they are supposed to protect. How can a judge who calls himself a judge sit in court and misconduct himself in such a manner and expect the country to be quiet? Now here is where the matter becomes even more extraordinary. This order, an order with massive political, legal and democratic consequences, was pronounced without the court's full judgments, as I've stated supra. There were no written reasons, no factual findings, no legal analysis, just a naked directive issued into the public domain. And the whole constituency is now being told that there must be a rerun. I am a practicing lawyer of experience at the bar. I understand that courts occasionally deliver rulings with reasons to follow. But such a practice is the exception, not the rule. And it is never acceptable approach when the stakes are this high.
They have distributed 6.6 million parts. They have repeated the same figure in Appendix 4A of the budget statement. A simple calculation will tell you that 292 million Ghana cedis divided by 6.6 million packs of pad is 44 Ghana cedis, almost 45 Ghana cedis. The big question is, they came to this floor early this year when they were championing the argument that because of effective management of the economy, now a pack of pad is 45 Ghana cedis.
Right.
In fact,
on
the social media platform of the Ministry of Finance, Atufonsin himself posted this feat.
Amani share Monfa Enchain say a breno akechi kakra Kessben television suni the punch you di the bro and ya wada ye November was me there toso eduno enson e wo afim pimieno ene eduno enum emu me de Kofi Appiah atanse no never sorry enkunya so in a very first segment very legal issues emra ho semo a asori Ghana memu na otwi mu na ye di ho komo wi a you can come to look at the political issues na afi yahwe amanyosem someone I cost 42 Ghana may emra shebe film ebedi enkomo pi na otwi mu what in SMP it would be and say Wesley Girls Senior High School awofo bi anase obi e de school no mpanifo court say urabe bi ana bayo bi osua de oho oye kremu ne okomo mpaye a omoso omo mane mo mpaye Wesley Girls wege eye Methodist school nti ekrisosom unti mi fa osom e message nchina e ma kwa amenye asem no e court Supreme Court you see court school mpanifo omo emebo mu nkro she open their defense na education minister beka say the school mpanifo ye no etia emra mansambra ye ema obi afa hodie eno na som do mpanifo aso say da bi Roman Catholic aso for Pon Catholic Bishop Conference just say asori bi ya what school no ho kwan say asɔre nyina so the school no gyina ye no wɔde ɛyɛ adwuma na ebi no kyerɛ sɛ Ghana is secular state ɛnyɛ ɔman yɛ de som baako bi na ɛyɛ nti so obi yɛ kremoni na ɔkɔ Kristofo school a ɛwɔ sɛ ne som sɛ de opesi wɔyɛ no ne yɛma na kwan ma no yɛ ebi so kyerɛ sɛ daabi sɛ meyɛ Kristosom school na ɛde asi wɔ a woti ase sɛ ɔba school hɔ nko ade a ɛna na wɔsɛ sɛdeɛ mmara ahyɛ no school mu hɔteɛ no ɛna ɔde yɛ adwuma Paul Kruger and of course this is my country and these are my laws. Those who don't want to obey my laws should leave my country. Sanetia na maybe call Roman school opokuware school yebre so no na edu kwesiada opompo be kwa sorry Roman school no omo consider kwesiada say Sabbath was yebre so no kwesiada insiniema emobo na musu nkan sa assistant headmaster father local ntubu sirakon obachu se kwesiada obobo insiniema onya asem opon prep no nkro a eso koruma so dem ko mass asa no akwa akoda yeah time no it was very strict at that time and I mean the anti your Islamic schools were yeah bu on mo a Muslim school nti no say tia media edu fiada 11:45 no mapon we Christo new we kremo ya pon because on be come mosque nti no obia e kofie the where do we draw the line say some who do omo bie school no omo timi de som no mbra eye adwuma se opo umpu waba ho nko ade so di so ana se obi ba ho na oni sa som no mu a se na so person som ni nyankopon no ye ma na kwan na onye ho adwuma wo do adwen kyerɛ ba 0551 599 933 se di komo wie be call Chief Justice nsem no what is say or the ECOWAS court ama court no aka se o person sign yes reinstating no as Chief Justice ndie atwam ne mum assembly obeka Attorney General so koka say court to kra ni to me so me di asem no court so there be omo to me so me di asem no e be di ho enkom kakra afi National Cathedral no mampani kire say onem panifu be di ho enkom no hunu the way forward ekwane a National Cathedral ho nsem no ye de be fa so this is another stories and a first segment ye be di ho enkom ne koba na in as next second segment no enyabre na afi semo aka ekire so no yaba na ya be di ho enso enkomo Lawyer Charles Joanna Ewaha, a private legal practitioner at the National Cathedral. Before I heard so on the lawyer near no Jinemu. Now, I lawyer need ye. You need to be in Comahe, a some any school, someone now, she is shas, you know. Now, but Chief Justice, dear Sansana, I've heard and also a home assembly. I come. Lawyer, Emakaba. Now, here, dear. That's it. Send you so, Wabe. If sense someone esi na watch mu wate ni nyina bi ye mu bi efa Wesley Girls Senior High School ye Cape Coast Roma bi a so okobom mpae a school mpanimfo kire se da bi wontimi nkobom mpae bi a ope higher Methodist school the Methodist share na the school no a asem na ko Supreme Court a amasese education minister kire se the human rights fundamental human rights a owo so timi sum ni nyankopɔ bi anka ne hye no na school mpanimfo titia so a asɔre ahodo so asɔre se kire se da bi ye de si ho no eno na so obeba school won ko ade a so de adwuma emere mu no the school mpanimfo ye ene de awoforo so ka se de ye obeya ma no kwan ma ne nkramo so nya kwan ko no mpaye bra ope no why de na no kre.
Well, as I said, I assembly with the Cordon Supreme Court. Supreme Court, this is say assembly the Cordon Supreme Court. Supreme Court ebe mahu mbiaye. Nti eka ho asema say careful ni take the wind out of the Supreme Court sail. I can say ye prejudge the ABC, but under normal circumstances, no. I'm say sa school see almost yache. No in the faith base as a Christianity. Into almost you know okay, yeah, Bible for what Christianity is all about and the reverend to be a baby habiano. I was saying your man ashisheno say with this. I'm say Ghana so yatiti schools be a Islamic base. The presumption is say Islamic based schools no. Person practice Islam. Person how is what is Islam, how it is practiced, and the rest of it. I don't believe, sir. So obi fi, obi a Christian, not so called Islamic school ni bi. na so decide okay so say person me see me sorry wa ha say na Sundays them akwa sorry one I mean sure some bebre. Even though the constitution gives you the right to practice your religion, the secular ayina man for air canon I mean so me force when say government in art school is Achimota school and our schools are government predominantly government in art here all rights for a kind of religion I'll be practice or no unstoppable because you know but so called a Methodist school now a Methodist mission and normal betumu school and normal in a certain way. I believe there are a lot of Muslims almost our schools because they are the best schools in the country. Into Okwa, after the open say best school, I person the way you know. Oh, you know, would if baby, but no person almost son. The way your man and normal copy would you know. The problem about we are seeing in America and the rest of it is trying to protect the minority. No, you seem to forget the rights of the majority. Say liberals, okay, you're saying protecting minority. No, you forget the rights of the majority. I believe say the right thing to do, not to prejudge what the Supreme Court is going to do on the legal basis. Number here. Oh yeah, Islam. That's all person practice it with Islam. Call Islamic school. No many now how be me. In fact, the wow. But oh yeah, Christian. That's all person call a Christian school. Call Christian school. Men call Islamic school. Then try to be practice where Christianity was because in Islam no. So you're Christian, that's all you're Islam. Yes, we are Kafri. They say you are a second-class citizen and a second-class human being. So they don't want you in their setting. And it's in Saudi Arabia and the rest of it, you know. Yem prima Christopher and in Professor Emma. It's in identity partition in no ho. Sa schools here king. A mission schools. I might go on to train people according to the biblical ways of life are a bit more the best in the country. And in this occasion, confusion. I think Haruna, Haruna, politics they watch muka crowd, but that's my kind idea. They just all the accept Kessben nebeba. True to it, and so here Catholic for Tankasa, Omakasa. The other churches, Kasa, which means that now you are kind of touching something that it is dear to them. Intimidate them, if say. Supreme Court to form ruling, but you're practicing your religion does not mean that you go find yourself in a religion where it does not accept your religion at all. It's offensive. Okay.
But this argument is say once a school no abeye national aban agi school no hweso die abeye secular afedi enye se Roman fo na mfande moyemu bibia school na be ya school ya obia timi ko obidia dey tell say Roman Anglican Methodist Presbyterian ya chinchina o say dey som no mra e na yadwuma
school no aban salaries of teachers in no tua. The other aspect of it is taken care by the mission.
Aban see infrastructure here near Mabebre. So even though the churches support
then them churches a partnership between the school, the mission and government. And to say or that secondary school abandoned there, Achimota school fully abandoned there. There's a reason I take effect immediate now to the truth crown. You can't agree. Some mission schools see any mainline school see they ain't the papa. And then they did discipline back. And then they didn't grow for almost school see almost positions in the country right now. Why is it that if it is not broken, you want to repair it? It has been consistent and has produced some of the best human beings in this country. Our leading government, in 80 different public positions. Then episode I need to know.
So okay, said now okay, even though Achimota school said okay state there, but almost so say your disciplinary system and as a code we are school oh ba cho trimi you say obedient person by a court to say there be won't mean no e must say no ya ba to ogu nti wunyi said the e cost so see sa case na ma nipa bi nyina so said that you can also fight witimi so akon se we ya yemfa esom nhyɛ obi so se chinchina akɔ school we ya e wo se som kro no nhyɛ na odi achi.
Well, if it's I didn't bow so all of a sudden, then you can say, I wasn't aware. But right from the session, you were aware. I believe that Akwalane Papa knew behind him, say we are a Catholic school. Internet is open court to set confusion with her. You are aware. And you know, there are other schools, sir. I accept this idea with you. Besides motor school, okay, I buy school, total and free. And you know, to me, country will be said, my man in funny dreadlock or say it is, if it is his religion or his belief, there must be a reason why the man will have to maintain that, you know. Now it must be accepted as one of the things that people will do as a right. What did the mechanism? So if you say, oh, you're Rastafarian, is it a religion? So what is it? What did the because it must come against the schools. You say, okay, yawaha. These are our rules. Obia bebe school, whether you are a day or then you especially now or the bar. That's a rule. The only way now you can enter that school no is medical. Ultimately, ain't try to because we try to how. And I your religion. Religion now because it's a government school. Or to the mechanism. If it is not one of those things there, it will not supersede the right of the school to put discipline in their school. It doesn't work like that. But say nipa naba the dreadlocks na yare so 23 and tibia and as a yare be bono. And we don't be can change so because it's an exceptional case, a special case. But so about the tribune one, our person here Rasta bin it's not based on any religion or tribe or whatever, which obviously you have to keep now person here in Sanado Kodia. And I don't think because this thing happened in England. There's a case study in England. The same situation. Change the course of things in the school. Because these are the basis upon which we rule, you know. Say, it's a religion, any human right, and I say, yes, and then you have to look at it. But where it is a faith-based, yate school is a Christopher, and in yate school. Until you knew, say Christopher, yate school. This is when you're Christoni, and as a person go inside there, then the presumption is that you go under rules and regulations. Ultimately, God okay, me I am a right to worship any kind of any way I want it in person, Mr. Samuel. And it will be an uphill struggle. I'm a mouth kind sir.
Right, so kind of education minister say only school no enyadwin. That makes the case what's the position?
Okay.
If so defending the religion. Is that how you see it?
Well, I wouldn't say so defending the religion. I think Haruna is an experienced politician. But I think Haruna is wrong. The issues at stake, you know, I think it's wrong. Maybe or an analysis, no, say it's a right of the person to worship any, to be a member of any religion that he believes in, and therefore the person must be allowed to practice his religion in that setting. Says Achimota school now, Okasa, na me know ya. But you be school, I want to say a Christian school. You must go under the Christian ethics, you know, any doctrines and the rest of it. You know. The state has allowed it to happen. So Ghana government can say school no ha. Secular but the state has allowed it to happen, even though it's a partnership between the state and the mission. You know. The state has allowed it to be a missionary school and the rest of it. And it is afraid now by U10. On what basis now you U10? There are other schools. You say be a week run a school. I saw Kianiki. I saw Costa School. Islamic schools were how did you know Kobe? Islamic schools were all over the country. They say I didn't know Kobe. It's like although there should be a confusion. Or there's set up a confusion where there's no confusion at all. To me, I feel say Haruna. I think as now. Or analysis. But I believe that the Supreme Court will come up with a solid verdict on this matter, taking into consideration the rights of all parties.
Say be any a soft one because any Sabine Sabo school no na yinya kwan ye no said we are taking back our schools?
Well, I think it is too late in time for them to say we are taking back our schools, because obviously government has invested so much in those schools as it were. I just about America say okay, fine. Most will take you over my schools so there any government a teacher for you to America and in your manoma ye bio. And then you see can swear that she move for your mind. Na mo from school. Na mo nya that will be something that will be, if government agrees, say this is what it is there, and then it's anebeba. Now government so for so, now say be a rule in the banner, see a prima almost or there. Then you will see say some of the missionaries, they will push back because the Omo doctrine, are very, very, very hard on those doctrines. You see that they are pushing back. They'll probably leave the whole thing.
School and
that make us say, may flip side, flip side, Until you don't want to enter into that corridor where one will say, okay, any effect, because them become first, this thing has helped educate fine men in this country. I don't know what the Islamic schools have done, but most of the people that we see today in politics and the rest of them, they went to some of these missionary schools. It's, say, Bubuya. I don't know how to fix it.
Okay. Right. When I say, for a school, someone and say, sorry, and on common near say, school are sorry be not here. Yama kwama sorry fa or mumranye juma, we cremonio, we wine uba. Some church and the school when I saw the juma, now say, be a bar with me practicing the said the lawyer kind of. We're waiting for what the Supreme Court will say about this issue. Now, I move on. Now, I heard Chief Justice. You say in the case, a Coas Court. Attending General Catcher Coas Court say, "Omuni to me, zoom the 7 court and say, well, why? See, Timmy, come and open your defense. Name CSI restating my minute, Yatrao. What do you make out of that?"
Well, I'm going to say, Attorney General, say, transfer, because I think Ghana have signed up to SAR treaty. Say the court will have a jurisdiction over certain matters that are brought before it. And we should be sure say they had the jurisdiction to sit on the matter. But it said the last me can say and no man Chief Justice former Chief Justice and yeah the best handing about so because there is a special constitutional provision dealing with the removal of the Chief Justice. Make and me who acquire or back view. It doesn't state say okay, so when they see ya, and secondly, don't so no, ya appoint a new Chief Justice or Tiakunyan say. And me who how I will bet me about constitutional position, constitution idea, a supreme law of the land. So law be a measure up to it, they try to be attacking the constitutional position. To that extent, they're null and void. They're ultra various. And me feel say, the fact say she's been removed from the Supreme Court. I believe that she was removed as a Chief Justice, which is a position, not as a judge. And in a gray area, because the Constitution is not very clear as to whether she's been removed as a Supreme Court judge as well, because she was formerly a Supreme Court judge and Sanya Dene Chief Justice. By a process, Corona, they remove as a one process, Corona. And the one process, I see the removal of the Chief Justice. I say go through process, Yes, I know. Now he find a case, he as a justice of the court. It's a Chief Justice in an administrative position. Or a judge that time. It be first said that is an area where maybe the courts want to look at it because there's a lacuna as to what happens to somebody who has been the time in so called retirement. Not just my minister say and one the pension in the baby. I think say it's a gray area that maybe the Supreme Court will want to have a look at it and see whether they can bring her back. And not to be a Chief Justice, but maybe as a Supreme Court judge. But the Constitution doesn't say so.
Say, oh yeah, teacher, nearby your head teacher na headmaster. Now you be see a UAD from headmaster. Do you go back to teach?
Well, if the UAD as your triple of your right to be a teacher, they are say different. Because Chief Justice is in a position. And then being a Supreme Court judge is a position. If you can see you as a Chief Justice, it means something. What I say, they don't want you to be the head of the judiciary. It's you as a head of the judiciary, not just say you as a judge, which is a profession, which is different from it.
It you who say car, also keep me man quiet so some a justice of the
Superior Court. Gray area. The law does not actually state clearly say, or you as a judge. And to say a gray area, then say you with me argue. Court argues, okay, this is what it is in Timothy. Now, mommy ruling was. But say pass here, Sunday na bas Chief Justice there. There's a law in Kasa. So what I say. You are near you.
In any case, the ruling of ECOWAS court is not binding on Ghana.
A soft law. The ruling of ECOWAS court.
International law is soft law.
Soft law. And local law, a hard law. You know, by force, so obey. I don't adopt it. Okay, decision is not mine. We want to adopt it and want to
domesticate it.
It doesn't have any strong effect on the decisions that were taken in the local law. But a bit may affect a chrono in terms of other international dealings. What has a bit may affect your relations with other international bodies in terms of whatever you do. And okay, be a Ghana and say someone practice human rights in the whole and the rest of it, and by Ubehuna almost take a stand against the country. Nigeria, see a cook Christopher Trump say Trump a fan or America or see a cook
Christopher into Obaho.
So I know the Timmy trigger. And I feel say you're members of ECOWAS, you're interrelated with other ECOWAS members. Into some of your decision, Bisani and Feni year, it may affect your relationship with some of the members of the ECOWAS. Biana Amwaye and in your mind, you know, coming to the port, you have to look at it and see how best you can. But they are emphatic, say Charlie, coming back onto the seat in the but there be other ones in the rights, human rights, and human, they can look at it. Which is what I'm saying. There's a gray area, whether he has rights to be a judge on the Supreme Court or whatever. No, whether it is affected by this decision, no, it's something that she can canvass.
Okay, right, lawyer. Yeah, say National Cathedral and say Mampeni can wasem. Say before better say no my if you money who the be. What can I say?
National Cathedral, no. To say the Debbie American. I think the sequence of events pushing it into politics now, NDC for Anyade. Let us call a spade a spade. I believe, sir, in their political, preparation for the 2024 election, they saw the National Cathedral as a threat to votes for MPP and to attack him. Now, most of the things that they said about the National Cathedral was not true. Propaganda, and you know, say a hole, a swimming pool, a say. It turned out, say, none of these things are true. Because Yako OSP in fact in my Yako Shraj is not the report about no wrongdoing. Yako NIB, as of today, NIB, so nothing. Government has been in power for maybe 11 months. You who some come and you some more mature. Yeah, delusion tools for your more auditing. Say anything was done wrong. PPA was met. PPA rules and he was met by the government in terms of government sika omae. management report was responded to, and an audit report was prepared, which does not blame them for anything. And you know, so 2001 almost started propaganda. I've been seen from 2001 to 2025. It's a lot of years. Sadly, we are. I believe it is enough. It's about time. Say the president, because president don't know executive arm. Because okay, I was misled. Let us find a way of to say the worker say let us find a way and sit and see how best we can do. But as somebody called Kaya, and they say or see the board cathedral ne board ebia president ebia na or can na ne refi kakra because you know cathedral no almost setting up no almost some sort of agreement. What the government will do, the state will be doing, and what the church and other benevolent societies will be doing. Government can so be seed money. Government, as we speak, we have seed money every $58 million. Government so be as we speak, government amana asase and also be secretariat. We have secretariat in every. And so far as I'm concerned, and the cathedral is concerned, government has finished his part of the deal. The American cathedral and the intimate scene we be seen the politics ne call cathedral. Because at that point, you just say ye young reform my donations, huge donations, which I can prove to you. Say there were times, even the chairman was going to a meeting. They had promised to give $100 million. And if it hadn't been a criminal, any propaganda near course. Cathedral and banana case. But I know the course would not prevent it. It's the air can say, Mr. President, so can send the board in the door. Me who government part to sick or deba. I just who can say, means my as a president, who say, and some a Kafa cathedral and who Yanukre. It means me donations are made from the government, which he can do. He has the right to do it. Then to me, they buy, let's say, $50 million into me. They say, "Yen delay mo," and I'm to me and twaso. I could say, "Intimi the $50 million to number fan crank up na fe." The two we are seeing now say cathedral no, bonibie ni ho ma ye. Intino a misunderstanding and a misrepresentation. Into what person contribute towards cathedral. It is time for you to contribute. I feel so sorry different churches and different pastors. And some will recognize and say the cathedral is meant for the church. Because independent churches, etimigu, independent church, etimigu. Because why only said the head of the church, I say, a leader of the church. Only watch now. And Tokwebi Ebisinu. When they take you over, the man they take you over, and I say, assistant pastors they take over. I didn't talk to you by myself. But say state based there. Afebo, no, what to say, Sa Basilica here, who say Peter's Basilica, no money, Uko England, Cathedral, Uko America, Cathedral, Uko Germany, in the rest of the Christian fold areas, no, cathedrals, necessary. You take a knowledge from Turkey. Turkey at some point in 7 major churches. Now whole predominant of me a Christopher. But because of independent churches, together to form any base, churches Islam take you over our home. I must say 25,000 Christians spend 70 million a year. You better be bahase. You can see a quack or bompire, Christians quack or bompire. Ebi obi person or a Catholic or the committed is join them to pray. But cathedral no cathedral no 65,000. Ubet my expanding like 15,000. Our Bible museum, a garden, a Bible garden, a Sansu restaurant of a city 350, a Sansu auditorium, a cemetery for dignitaries, a Sansu prayer rooms were any small miniature churches were and a Sansu conference centers. And two teams say a huge. I bet me taking care of most of the Christian activities now. And come, you say, okay, young Christian council, you committed this akoye. You bet me in the cathedral, so the be free. After so, time will pass. 10 years will pass, 20, 30, 100 years will pass. That cathedral will be there as the focal point of Christianity in this country. The flip side in the same. President Yotisu say, President John Dramani Mahama. Onyobia say onpe religion. We are on exhibit on religion. Why exhibit say udimu akotene pa. So we a national mosque. President they dimu akotene single-handedly. And no far assassin government land no think of fee take it by no bc. Oba he has not shunned away from that trend of affairs. Oba also a Hajj village. Yes, Hajj village. Gidi pa amuguso omoye. Also be a Islamic university. Ni in order. Also be a friend saying Islamic bank. Islamic university is to train Islam for no what Islam is all about. The bank is as a Muslim. Yes, you find interesting to so because who the interest to so haram. It is your Islamic banker. It is a bank that will help the people to practice their religion properly. It is a good thing. And in Yoma Bibri, Oba, see Omo the Kabe 20, Hajj board need the Kabe 26 million. No audit, no nothing. But what we are. It's president in Yobia now, one can not sorry oko. Yes, apparently we see 10 church houses among. It's on your beer, yeah, it's surprising, say. Christian 4 day way the guardian. What you mean, Chehosa? It's the Becca president, the president. Assembly near the end. Ya komwa kwa ba ye bibia obi anwie sikabia obi anye boni bia the presidency na omo ye no omo ni aban sikabia every money has been be accounted for say yes ye PwC for integrity audit ni nyoma en go si hwi because as na president as said there kiane ke upe bibi the account for but I don't think that is what you want to do intimesra Bomodin, that's also about there. Bomodin, that's also no case okay. Me Christo ni. Me busu for Christo for. Inti the person me and say so president Bakona, me be share na name no. So no, Emma 58 as a seed money there. And you mean so no. Me must 60 million as a seed money. Na delay na abanini na because as we speak now, we have a problem where a contractors because of the delay in Intino. Almost a year back say it cost 29 million for the delay. And we say no so we pa na so come through papa it cost financial loss one cost loss no. Obia will affect the delay of the and our costs are financial loss because if the delay nearby was caused by you that's a year legitimate. There's no reason why it should have been like that. Then willfully you have caused financial loss and therefore no man but a moot arguments are at some point in time if it has to. It's in the media. Cathedral no. A Christopher Wokromha only best between 70 to 72%. I believe they pay more taxes than anybody else. I believe the schools here almost set up schools, almost set up hospitals, almost develop the people because almost Gold Coast time almost started annual. Almost na hold country together. Discipline near young for calm and peaceful near you living with one another near it's from the religion. I'm adopted. Into me in trauma mo na nyomana air costume because I'm seeing the raging of the Christian fold for nyomana air costume. Yeah, dear Satoso na ejai. Into no cathedral ne the SCAC. Because baby Edru no. Yentimin ko ya chibio. You are spending $97 million. Ye jaina sa 97 ya den ya de pay. A chefom, a what textural drawings, a one no mercy in ya wi. Into no Mr. President. Mr. Tamedu.
Okay.
Like I say. Yanko. To my sister be.
Right. Finally, morally churches no say they do no more misum na em build ana
Yes, saying generally, no, initially, no, the idea was that the churches will also contribute towards the building of the cathedral. My church, donations, 49 million Ghana cedis failed. So you could imagine the amount of money that was coming in at that time. In the churches in India, I think we have started going back to them. So actually, in so many Kafa cathedral, we have been able to show say Yama back built to the fold. Near harvester, obviously, the donors, those of them who wanted to donate, our more brochesca for millionaires, on person whose cathedral was being built. Almost to say we are in contact with them for them to also kick in their support. Into ye you could supply any abre. Ye pese and your money echo a. Until we are welcome the presence of a person in Payphone trust in you who ye the befas. But my man is scared to say, I buy sick and ye babaji, because I bind you with 20 sick every. And ya dear or Sandy be a car, John one casan of Christo with Christo Nintino, or no swabadia, or no so bois, na cathedral near sea. The president, we are Yanko Pombe Shroud, because Christopher, you believe, say, maybe I be a man, Yamibiano, Yamibe Shroud. Intino, yes, a man, a soft way, sorry.
Okay.
Namofes Canemra, the FAC cathedral.
Let us arise and build.
Arise and build.
Yeah,
I like that one. That one is good.
Anyway, right. Like, it has to be then so by. Not you out there, man. Right. It was for lawyer Charles John and you know it didn't come off for a wide range of issues. Yeah, a border on legalities. If a school for there are someone a buyer said the kind so a kind no. And also, you know, Eddie, a home and como edadano. Sarah and so, and ye casaye, Eddie, a fan, so do ye can. Ye die who tia basis ya a coba for toss me, you know, ye the ever torso. Ye but see the punch. You didn't now hear Kessben television, so Sati and call Kessben 93.3 FM. So ye basis ya na at the second segment and also at us.
The filing of a stay application may yet introduce an additional layer that may prevent changes to the member status within the meaning of Article 97 and 99 of the Constitution. The House's attention is also brought to Article 105 of the 1992 Constitution, which provides that a person who sits or votes in Parliament, and I quote, knowing or having reasonable grounds for knowing, unquote, that he is not entitled to do so commits an offense. It is crucial to emphasize that Article 105 is penal in nature, should the member know that he ought not to be in the chamber and he participates in the activities in the chamber. Honorable members, it's therefore too much premature to say that the Honorable Matthew Nyindam is disqualified from entering and participating in the proceedings of the House, because this period still falls within the 7 days mandatory stay of execution of the order. Honorable members, This is not a declaratory order. Honorable members, having reviewed the complaint, the standing orders, and the governing principles, I am satisfied that the matter raised prima facie implicates the dignity and institutional integrity of this House. Pursuant to Order 34.1, I therefore refer the matter, the complaint, by the Honourable Member for Kofu Central and a majority leader to the Committee on Privileges and Immunities for examination, inquiry, investigation, and report to the House. The committee is directed to 1. Ascertain the relevant facts giving rise to the complaint, including the actions taken by the House and by the honourable member concerned. 2. Review those actions taken within the framework of outstanding orders and the applicable protocols.
Right, I'm going to share my crab view about Kessben television. So now, if Kessben 93.3 from the punch, you made, and I thought this is the second segment. So, the Kayakano, Yaka school for ne some no way, you other issues. Now, you can't have the same Russia with your film. Okay, I said, then you grow Parliament, now Speaker, Abamba Beneniho, now second deputy in the Senate Jomo, and this was for go for by say. Ramatin dam you pandai mrashabeni high court to say ne pesuase nsan koto ababio na kunwa no we mfa kwampa so ne di nkunim nti omo mpene wo say oye ex MP nti ontimi ma parliament ne beto dwa na second deputy ka say da bi we de boro me so me de asem no to ti parliament yenkofie na ade echi na say speaker na mu ba betrase ene ra ababa be betra adwamo no wa court of appeal rules ya some wo kan say Sasam ko high court na yebua sem no na obi ed indication ema high court on say or ko akoya appeal or file notice of appeal for the next 7 days the ruling of the high court is stayed enonti ene ontimi ka say ora martin dam o mamara shewedwam this is 1st January eso 7 days no so na sa waye ni stay of execution na then ye atwaso ne mudu ono onye ya na omehu ne ebesinti ene 1st December sorry not January na ene omko parliament speaker kire say ye premature so we beka say pandai mrasebedwani na konwa no say efene sati de kukese NDC for ekaye no wabo atog what are the implications 1st January no so a speaker besa be rule on the issue bill 1st December no so a speaker Obesa be rule on the issue again. Obesa be rule on the issue again. And now so say obeko nanim yebenya bre na yedi honko. We are parliament wa afenyu marking minority leader HRS say abaye nam gold board so ajigalam say atum. It's a gold board for no omu twisika kokko maban kotonya dollars pa na ska kokko no omo to no galam say for di ya no to. This abayana kaso ko garam se oboa gold board for no o na eboa no gold board for chese da bi o mo so no o mo kwan for so yo madwuma ne mpa de ba ko metima ne se illegal gold trade nipa bi a woni tumi akosom to gold Ghana ha na o ba beto to gold no so o masia no ama so far sika o magye free say nipa nchen na twem 3 million Ghana cedis ye ba be hwe no so na ye di honko masujo wadwentwe no 0551-599-933 0551-599-933 so the bar iwenya mre na semegu apronso nyina no edi ho enkomo odwafo eno medi dwuma fa etosimienu Dr. Enoch Champon where senior lecturer at the Department of Health Promotion and Disability Studies KNUST, also a member of the NPP. Sarah Ensona Moro Yakubu, also a South Regional Communication Team member for the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC, Omo Elha. Doctor Akaba. Now, put me a day. Christ in tea.
Christ in tea. Christ in tea. Afa Christ intimi edition now
Sure.
say.
Nyamiadom.
Nyamiadom me hoye pa. Abusuafo bi ahoye.
That's right.
Ma me fa akonye so na me nchia obi a waje akonye hwe na anwumre. So yi sha ya chekakra. Me komi crew na machia. Adansi asokwa district na enkanka ne me crew ma adansi abo number 2. Na ofa se de afi bi am. De bi am nya akonya me kan se yen mu bi efri achi na achi na efri no fa nye because of distance no. My conditions are in any woman, you know. I am not who say if free more mudiums or monomuni who come as here, and you know, by the free not because of distance, but condition in Muntiana in Yakonya, the Asadamenya me. The offer me hoye.
That's it. Moro. Akwaba. Reset in the coso.
Send you from AC of this year catcher. Near me than I come one near my coso. I buy papa by Minia a doctor. I was over actually. I'm afraid of room.
So I say, actually, by distance.
You're over 2 day. I by distance, then yet by distance, dear. Let's say, baby, I will free by in terms of a brain with the bit nit na kumasi no bi so atna aboabo wo ze adanse aboabo na ofiri animu pa ha nti enka ne sa obi o ha wote kumasi otwen a bobe you know 3 pm ho na na eze wagu concrete ode koda so obi nso so adanse aboabo anopa anye bia ne board jubi so ho we are to me bo apesie nwumre fufu kra na ja wunya man so bi na de gusu a say you are good to go and so on and so forth enti men kan say na be bia wugina yi onko fu ba ba me wo muso ma ma position there but one kasa na obobra na kudun pempen so bi ni say woni yesu bom so na abai papa nso so asan aba.
All right.
About Papa ba ye. A dog be she and be a because I know Okojina for stationer. I know me and the phone so moon fail it. Teteno or hey drew baby na a horn and the sick cabin on the moonina. Nana buying and I was so. You have a bibia no de now quem one.
All right.
You go subu or minus and you always see a buno.
Right. That's it. Dr. Esha say in free Tawanto see Parliament and Ra. Ebra minority nika say pandai mrasa wujeni ntimi ma parliament. If it's a court assessing in person so yen koto abeto a ex member of parliament and also nti oba enye na second deputy speaker here said ne speaker by no or say utumi ba up to 1st December. According to the High Court Supreme Court of Appeal rules no so will be a man notice of stay of execution. We are there, it was a MPP ni NDC, okay, the chikwisi, dear no, your madam ba, your man ba, Mekai, the one baby crack, which I'm rushing you knee, and also the sir, that day, 17 I was in Parliament, then Yasam Kitrakra, then this was here my sworn in, MPP for some young sworn in any Naha, and the president and another panel, swearing in the Emma so. They see, they say the speaker handling issue, can say.
You see. Swearing in is different from say nullify election results. And say High Court the injunction at also a different from say results are unya na say election and kasano. Yeah, or that say inquiry run. And according to Speaker Nonson, there's precedent to say High Appeals Court a ruling that edaho says will be apply for stay. They have number of days stay no a year juma. Enti now yasanto to say a better call a appeal appeals courts. Enti so call appeals courts. Whatever outcome, the two parties no also have the right for review. And soon after the review, a better call the next leg. Enti assembly da hono nyese a neya sema e betwa. Into me, I believe in say yama processes nentoaso. But one curious thing say etumpo back on metie majority press or more kind say there was no ruling. A buy or silly a fee na or ruling in the aba. but he is giving order. Me lawyer, me court
there are two different things. Judge Timima utumi the ruling no. But na ruling na mo operating na kan o se bia dey say na de beba. Enti no no first one no or throw be a no one sheet cry be a first page blah 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 go and do this. But detailed ruling no judgment na pa no. Is that the case? And I say
yes.
Yes.
On far
written
ruling
judgment
na kasa mai. Enti no but ade ba ko very instructive and they say meti on abonyin dam no say they heard from grapevine say this is how our judgment in the beko. And surprisingly, so share NDC social media handlers no we na a day before you heard it. Ube kind of page by election and I umuya no more de papa ba kwa omo ma OSP asa a charge no so the abeto. So there will be 2 by elections. Omoka we no dey na no more specific, but the other one omuntimi more constituency needing. So they felt say no, there has been some information be omaliki amanko for be who say na judgment beko. And pam sana by so the legal team no so sensing this went to court with prepared stay, application for stay, and then appeal. They prepared the two because based on social media and your man course in Intino, they picked the intelligence, and that is where my worry is. Of our Kai say a bra president a best suspended Chief Justice. It was all over say Ochina BBC and NDC social media platform nina. And then the suspension came. A basa, it raises a lot of questions. Say, are people being fed with information that they are not supposed to have? Of ambassadors, what I say, that is where my worry is. 2. Uti asana. I'm say a year witness au kujina muma enipa odina samukoyen during cross examination, whether it is true or not, but omabeka nobody has come to deny it. So based on that, I assume say it is what happened at the court. Say enipa no admit say the vote involved are in contention only 500 votes, but the difference between this candidate any NPP candidate was over 3,700. And he said, even if you give all the 500 votes, a disputed no crowd, the complainant in the crowd now, still NPP need over 3,200 votes. So in all this, and a video being so about for some minutes when you be a shot, how I'm ranting be good pick up more NDC branded pick up more. Omu invade collation center na wo pandai ho no na omko say nioma ema omo transmit sa enioma na aka ni nyina de court amale ekoye declaration. One of the reasons I would tie MPP side and some omo can say ni relief ba kwa usiki and say they should nullify the results because ebro omo ye declaration no candidate oni ho. Of a emrabe na chere sese ye declaration na so candidate wo hands and your declaration. You as incumbent MP upon sensing say we lose you decided not to go to where omoye coalition na omobe final declaration then you use it say enam say wan ko ho nti no emma results na nya valid ena enye the whole constituency results na just few polling stations we say ni pink sheet ni bi judge in his own wisdom a ruling say yon koto abani bio. Now me fear and say you see the president I set going forward a time will come over obi akwa election no he no lose so be say any oma. The same thing happened at Ablikumanov. Say you say 3 polling stations na ye disputed. Awumunya ho pink sheet emfanye edru ba bi na afi akoye 19 say we the end the total we rerun of the whole constituency election. Now when you do some of these things over, you are telling people say now oko election now hwe na wo lose a famra hye wonsem na say nioma na say da achi bi o party ni at the end of the day o party timi win a ebia no why lucky ni nullify no say any opportunity a contest bi ye de sa chichere omaya koduru baabi beduru baabi ne betwea na ateta na MPP o NDC o na agi nyina ati nyina ye ni so okay so wo hwe ya elections a ye wie abrante bi ko some media house declare ne ho winner NDC Honorable Patrick Boama constituency konya na asia sori nyina omu wie ya ye declare proper declaration and the difference was over 4,000. Yet this guy went to a particular TV station. Emomo were coming MP elect or corner and nanum home my yekobo on a powder, knowing very well so lose. But or the basa constituency wa okay the see or Mr. Techiman and I say ABC 2020.
Yeah, Techiman out.
2024, the same person NDC candidate na 2024. He was seen in saa omo cars ibia ogina so a wabo white water you to powder gu so. Ema omo supporters so omo win at the end of the day buy no oboa. Oboasi East. The same thing happened. So we win. Afi court on fa na evidence mra went me amfa hwe amba court ni botu guye. I have for no southwest. The same thing. Oh, here another umpredian. Yeah. It's a woman to a jury.
Yeah.
NDC for say one more win. Amu makwan ma EC official and declare another umpre. Another umpre stood his ground. Mo yere county be a buyer. The difference was more than 5,000. Me see. Media may how ne say you see so the mrasha on some say ya opam hufo a bedu we beto no be ma o ubeye sa ne o ma say one man hunu say iduru election so ne ye coalition dey obi atimi the mrasha ne nsem. That is the danger me hu ewe yanim as o mine inti ruling na aba no. May I encourage honorable Nyindama why yes I didn't say encore appeal. Whatever the outcome is, or opportunity to go for review.
Okay.
Owie or pound Sanfanko Supreme Court. Ye be wie no. E betime di be 1 year, 2 years. Ni enka asem ni wie. At the end of the day, him for the best offer. Ni constituents. Ana over me boa.
Okay.
Nti me dey me say whatever omo person omo ye bia they can do it. Hey, offer in 1993, 7th January 1993 to 7th January 1997. NDC had 100% in parliament. And how there was no opposition from 7th January 1993 to 7th January 1997. 4 solid years. 100% at the Papa Ben on the year.
That's it. That's it. Right, but that's it. Dr. Inoke Champon watching Kano Kasama MPP Maminko Moro. And right now MPs, MPs now your word, but I almost say also when you MP, your friend ex MP. Speaker is too premature. What can I say?
Of our Minawasi, Mamentia, Asher my degree, Mamentia, Wankasa Une production, you. Mamentia, Doctor, Mamentia is Excellency Don Ramani Mama. Mamentia, you are Dr. Frank Amokoine. Mze, Yakiti Hamokaya. Wama Nano Esifon, and I say, we're disappointed in a way. Say, KTM on say, and maybe no was a dream year in the tear, say, big, and said the young and so on and so forth. Duma regional minister eh na tre say the kinti amo kai ni na so bia mechia ma menchia me amenua penizuba oboyeduma pa and I encourage ubia o kumasi a opekumasi kan ko say the only thing he needs support in Bible and for anything na cover dog and some no one tiasi iti wa brepa na ma memfa konya isu na menchurch ase no one mo ehwe any dog ankasa ente asem no for by ekoto about 2024 na we specifically pandai emrano ne say ana processes are yedi MP and say over you talk about various polling stations and here no presidential no sa parliamentary so a polling station if you are na ebia doctor Wofa and ami muro yakubu ameti hey inyasi inti one you know as stakeholders I mean kind of political parties you be my receipt near a friend of pink sheet na sa pink sheet you know see nyasa receipt the various polling stations in nyina and your kokushia baby a friend coalition center baba na ehon yakoki ka bibia abom na yewia ye be kan abom no ye san de agu declaration forms di ye di gu so ewo polling station where pink sheet near 1C ena ye summarizing nyina o coalition center honmo a eno ye 1D na Wofa during coalition ena you so many you know inconsistencies and I did the credibility of the results are you know various pink sheets and so on and so forth now employee so you raise your objection to it and it is within our rights to say BBC here as stakeholders and as observers and our political party and you know contenders you raise this you know at the end of that and before during that and you know isi no who said the way our tempers kosoro no omo hodi ade no on kakra na yempebre foforo na yenya ade na ebra isi ade you know sa suspension of coalition no by na ka 41 you know polling stations are in Nyansamene up so that was outstanding. Even before say 41 you can one say net medical kasi war so many challenges with even some of the polling sheets are na omo presenting and so on and so forth no na day you know at nearby ya isi no dina so or the suspend and so on and so forth over yanka bia nhemi hu ya say isi declare nyendam as member of parliament na sanyemra no esihye Parliament the end there you declare a coalition center you designate at that you know constituency. And it is easy. No neutral habitat. I can say because of challenges with regards to the way our tempers a kosoro no mumian chasing say kakrana a prepare mo yaye. Now be easy or can as the same easy no. Akko baby for different location the regional capital of you know Pandai Akwa could declare amanyenda. Now doctor, let me make this clear to you say yen NDC for you boomra and fam branch yes yes and yen court offer asemi aye can say court na say enko rerun anamebwa and yeah, this near them Russia and them and I bibia. Now, the speaker, you know, it is part of the process, sir. You can be mammy, can be idea to say, and your High Court, any ruling about. Say, another dog who can say, they preempt because NDC phobia no more social media. Now, almost say your friend is saying by election, and check a becoso na the and so on and so forth of our mobile. BBN, you want it is. In social media, activists. About election, not with regards to, Pandai. It was a different, thing altogether. Even say, Niamo can you cry is anything to go by. Of a when a beko quarter, or when you know what to say NDC. Na yebeka say ye kwakudingu. Ana yako quarter, you won't know so, you possibly never kind of evidence. Now yet me approve it to, the judge, to his satisfaction. One more year witness to it, or more about court, or more follow case in news, say. Evidence are NDC presented, Definitely the outcome is going to go in favor of the NDC. It is a me court and I said me hoodie and asne winnie. Asna jini hoodie na me Chelsea kobo weekend na me kasa me Chelsea. Na no my preempt today. Eti yabesre NDC enfamra enhye yensem ya follow through the process aye de ebeye bia enemra no ekopepepe dia kan say susai obekire be yode bode ehunu bekwa akugu de ene na MPP for wa ban mu a omude takashi nyindam. They knew very well say nyindam a lose election no. But they say no more ban mu no. They had their way. And you see the enfam ranch here say me be court. And for the me yapa when MPP for especially their leadership in parliament, after marking specifically. Then someone and saying and M1 was so a lawyer ni. Then someone and saying, ya no wakano, sebi and fatapeniano. Timmy can say a whole judgment what they buy it. Sebi. I dream him. Menkanesa. Judgment no, I dream in him. Na a conspiracy. But yes, you judgment bar. Obet me criticize it. But to go to the extent of saying, say, a conspiracy theory being a judgment, ejina so de baya. I say, you rough and you're marking any BBI. And I am very sure, say, court necessarily would, want to know exactly the anymore. After you're marking anymore, doing say, the judgment was based on conspiracy theory. Na say a judge for no bo mutrimu po say ombedi asem na ma NDC na we efata leader no afa nyoma kiya na Chief Justice nominee Yeraba Fuboni when he was presented to Parliament's vetting committee say yentoto na no na say osefata senior president no so osefata yema no enkonkoye adwuma as Chief Justice we use a word like disputed to describe a whole Chief Justice nominee. And I am going to say, I feel no marking a lawyer. Now, when you bobia the my judiciary, to the extent so no one who say we making contemptuous, statement. Until a semupa, munchi enina 1-1, as a friend is a fighters. We are ready. Contempt. Only himself are making contemptuous, statement. And maybe in democracy, na kwa kudruno. Me ni say after your marking, and I was say okoba be share sa shoe kakrakana yira o say chimensa eyi 2 hono. Shoe no o say chimensa de na 48 a. Yira after your marking. Ono ne 9 no 9. Atom he doesn't represent exactly the MPP ani anymore yero chimensa
opposition be our new party. That's how you may see. But area the substantive substantive issue no. Maybe substantive issue no. Speaker ruling no.
Yes.
It has settled the matter.
If after marking,
that be after marking the enemy. Yeah, speaker pronounce on the matter.
I have spoken a lot I have addressed that, but me can say you refer no market me describe judgment as conspiracy theory. Now we now and then upward. Mo pa mo ntie nyina contempt ne yebeba offer so kan ana meboa.
Okay, me that say.
Eti the American ko sie nyina ne say yen NDC for say ne doctor kan ye no. Yen fa mra nhye yen sem.
Okay.
Ye de akwa akopie court. Ne ye court to sie ni. Oman file for stay of execution. Ye de nim say high court ruling about they have served on parliament. Etin ka won kan ho bio. But in the wisdom of speaker, any what the law says, was he train stay of execution, no, the period, no,
and so.
Okay,
yeah.
Whatever that it is, no, you drew bridge in this way.
We will cross it.
But maybe
that's time.
Pandai ni bien ni ho yan this ni enkan chance on starting co campaign.
Okay, me that say.
Because ye kwa
me that say. Doc, 2 minutes. 2 minutes per. Ye kwa that issue 2 minutes per. Ye chewe
2012 election petition. In na in Okroma Supreme Court maeti say ye to abawi na party agent refuses or be sign pink sheet that doesn't invalidate the results. Into one getting it right. 2 or say afenyo mark ya kasimbi etia judge bi until he doesn't qualify. You see, so no ni ha the whole former president and all your presidential candidate describe the whole Supreme Court as unanimous FC.
It's something that we should encourage.
We should not think, but I didn't hear him condemn. But today you are here, and no kind you were all over the place describing the whole Supreme Court as unanimous FC.
Right.
But today you are here. You see, in communication we have what we call convenience. There.
Okay. But I say, Moro, no, we within 30 seconds, right? We now maybe we have other issues.
Unanimous FC. So was saying, yes, I can. Anameboa. Old Nabu trainer, man condemn me. Offer no condemn me after your market day.
What did I think?
What concede this after your market day and yet Anameboa?
No.
So, offer beside is that the way we want to go? The hypocritical stand of doctor will be or more now offer again. Say doctor and electoral processes not
yes, I'm quite.
Let me tell him 2024. I trained my agent in the whole of
education. Pulling agent, so one saying it doesn't end there. There is a portion. I also watch the NT reason.
Okay. You ever know your this
is not flat to say
the punch you may na or Kessben television so we start to call Kessben 93.3 FM. You move on to the issue with the gold board. I think you marking Korea no case hey you see budgets no more running up no case hey gold board na abedi shan ho sakanwe say ye gold board omo ya de no omo na ma se galam say as a team Ghana ha we say omo na eto skakoko no every galamsey ese ne ho a ama gold board fo nya bi koton no the dollar ne ba abai de so mu ama dollar no entimi enkosro and also ntisa abai de so okweti galamsey a rather some gold board fo no an eto gold no e de free galamsey for moro o can say
after no market we shouldn't take him serious because with the evidence ye pe wo mu a e galamsey a chi wo wana ameboa of an animals a brain na say ye accident na a taxi free corona ye kwa kutu galamsey na se ne ade no ana of ameboa and is a leader of parliament minority leader for that matter Edwin say gold board bind edumaku involved in the illegal mining in every situation. The best thing to do is to present evidence so that at least you bet me who more AS Edumadi and Wagan and Ameboa, but where do I kind of water? Now let me educate one more at this half and your marking on gold board and then she say And then a gold board. The gold board, sabi enye new creation be aba a PMMC and never dada no muto gold and now fameboa. But the difference now is that gold board say yen na yema o lines say kokoto gold. To say cocoa bema cocoa akrati for the lines say mun konko to cocoa na mun fanya de emreye. Na lines na ye de ma wo no. Untimi nkonkoto illegal miners gold. You can only buy from Omua a wall lines is somebody there. So what it means in they say gold board directly do not buy from miners, but rather there are agents. They say nka from kuku cratch for. And a gold board are more lines them to gold no famra. Na gold na mo koto aba no mo ba na mo beton amaya. Yen yebe mamu sidi ofeti asem nie na yakoton na manone ne de age dollar ne de dollar na ba na ma yesika ni mo ayeduru MPP form ne yeko se mo atimi agina dollar no se papa ya wo pe ayibie wa o mo se oye chronic lie Alhaji Mahmoud ba o nya me na America o ayi miami nua ayi kwasi ho de okasa maka de Japan wase se obi ba kama da faka ama watimi aso problem better than obi a oye chronic liar ono be dwa na num wo dollar ho a wantimi anya ho hwe no at least ye ba ye hu how monumental do I see no atimi agina ne nan so abesi ne nti say ye Ralph Enyomakin as a leader and minority leader for that matter ewo evidence bi e say gold board ene ono ankasa former member of parliament Yewura Okoboy our minim say what hear in the video na was see ade ba ko a wo pe wa ba we hu pa ye gold board ne nhihye ye niema Yewura Sameja mfi na over ade bi ewo ye nuanu ma MPP fo omko opposition no omadwene ne omunsusuye nyina ne sa aben nke entofom nka enhihye ya ye hihya ma se dollar no oda bunkurugu na ai cedi nam kumasi a oba akoko mpedi cedi yachi enka ma ne sa na nka cedi na ye hata te se ne omo time na ye hata na sankofu ya omodwene sei eso pagana so wadi o baba mi biso omo say the Ghana ma omo a will they expect us to think otherwise oman chichire ne yenyina ya chichire obi enu o chifo asempa kodo of a said dollar e wo form na cedi ni gina ne na so Ghana for enjoy ya na ameboa MPP for mu nya Ghana for ana nti eden kra ena aba ene dollar e pasi di chew, and that is a wish of the general populace of Ghanaians. Nen people for money ye kum tiem pa de pa na okonfu boni a obetina krum se krum no kro se ya oka hu bi doctor de baby amu hyehye no mo de monya mo ho na me ka afa me maami o de bra camp eniema kofomu a ene oil na mo time ne ton no 1200 and na ba 550 cedis no ono no asem na me ko onya mo over the entium peso dollar kosoro nyina ne se omo to hye dem ti se ne maami Sicilia da pa ye ko hu bebre woni mpase nti the more na ebe kosoro no na omo yeye na Ghana for dodo na so bre nti e be sere ye Ralph Enyomakin. You see, assembly wo ho e fata pania no. Sabi o. Galamsey ye pesi etu ase. We a minority leader, a leader in parliament. This so evidence I want famra. So any evidence we are on kana no ntumi emu o.
That's it. Doc.
On baby o side ko fa ai oba no was setting the questions until the manner ni obeya ono ani answers our prepare de ba no be kan o ye de everybody akofifa ye ka Galamsey asem everybody akofifa ofa before make am asem so papa bi o say one kewudi ne call training college e wa ko carry a friend Mr. Michael Inti. Or semi country was a yachan, a watch out, na ya catch the KO this who nache. And I'm a classmate, Eric Boama, your school near friend McCarthy, or Boissy New Estate, Michian, or so of a Galamsey, a sermon ayeka. Na NDC, a war opposition. And someone can fire Galamsey. And on a year measure warm in the EU. Answer say state of emergency woman to mean you. Leading members of their party and they are core members of President Mohammed's cabinet were captured on tape. To the extent that President Mahama Krako can say about be granted amnesty. Edi ama wo mo ayachi wo mo Galamsey ho a ya convicted on by court of competent jurisdiction. O kasana me wo hayidin emwa me nsuma. Ofa Kwaku Buahin Dr. Tony Obin Abranti so on a small scale miners association president, former parliamentary candidate NDC. Who Chasuna make masem. Omo call mining site kokachire wo omo say NPP buy and omo mpese mo be ye adwuma. Na monto abanama President Mahama adamu beti se President Mahama yato abayi no mo nkonko ye mo adwuma. Ewenyam na mekan yo. Omo ba abamu ofa. The first thing our win MP has been cited by one traditional leaders. Him for what we win. Say no, he is involved in Galamsey. Wenyam na meka. Nanse ya naimos eko shidim. Say of sitting MP according to a deputy CEO Forestry Commission Elikem Kotoko. I watched him. Or see, he is the spokesperson for NAMOS. PRO for NAMOS. Or say, according to Commander no, briefing on the man no as spokesperson or Kasane say, the sitting MP came with tax. This is not me. And subsequently, sitting MP has been charged, arraigned before court, and he has been given bail. On Galamsey related issues. And now, the national organizer of the NDC, according to the Attorney General, he referred him and the national vice chairman of NDC said, Iroko and na they are involved in Galamsey. Of Anyamena Mekaye, Attorney General and refer wom. President Mahama all shared the press ni maiden edition this year. He made two statements. Or say Ghanaians as say omo ye Galamsey omo involved in the mining sector ye illegal. There are over 4 million youth. Omo any omo livelihood wo ho. And he cannot just go straight and kase omo nyina nyai. This is the president of the land. The second statement, it was so scandalous. That is how I will put it. And it was say, through gold board, our motor gold no. Now Ghana yetimienya over 6 billion. This was the president. Now of a tie the okaka ho a emmanuel scandalous. Or say, of a seminim say okay, it's a video no ha malam betimi about say, after all, and I want to quote him, after all, they are destroying our natural resources, which is the land and trees. And it's a benefit no air by your hot directly is better. This is the president, Omiti Press. When you mekan yo, President Tankasa na moro wante, President Tankasa num, or say, or mine 6 billion, a free mu within the short period. Enti anya hwe krano say omo say yen sase na se mfaso na ba ye ho a he is okay.
Oh, ankasa
offer
ankasa omo say yen sase
na say after all okane brofo after all it is our natural resources that are being destroyed, and if the benefit is coming to us directly, it is better than if the benefit is not coming to us of achiremu otwi. This is direct quotation. This is what the president said. Nti ofa eyebrofo no kan nti mesere wo de interpreti se malam mu of sa video na omo ebia na moru won hweye. This is what the president said. Na wo omampani timi gina simpie so eka sa asem we say oman na nya 6 billion a free gold board activities mu na se galamsey for no say yensa ase kra yenya ho mfaso no direct. Can you imagine says senka MPP aban omampani na na adodan kwagufu adon keka sa asem we enka minim de moru beka ba oba ye conveniently wo pushia koka afenwoma kenkofa Cecilia Dapa asemaba. Meanwhile we are talking about galamsey aden ensema amuka no opposition Kofi Appiah, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, was say we should halt all mining activities now. Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, Minister for Foreign Affairs, was say all forms of mining should cease. Honorable Haruna Idrisu, current Minister of Education, or say we should stop mining. Ene muba abem aden yente monka biu philosopher suka chi okasa mo mampani say oman bia omampani bia with the state resources and the security apparatus so wo ye wadwene so obe stop galamsey you can stop it and the MPP so muntimi stop ya na ontiase emaye nye na national fight. Honorable Minister for Communication Sam George is quoted to have said, President can stop galamsey within 7 days. All these people, there are tapes to what they said, and they are all cabinet ministers now. What has happened? Intimesereno, galamsey offer, near air cosunano, everything shows say, a your mampani Mahama abang, and I'm 6 billion or many free moon. They don't have the will to fight galamsey because a brand NPP fighting galamsey. And this if walk or share one more chicken say yen pese or be ye juma. Into one more coin. Nothing on my ban or ye juma. Why should we be surprised?
All right.
Their utterances in opposition goes to confirm. Say omune ebuama galamsey akoso sesia because enkomo support yen. And Omanko galamsey site or Uncle Shewom Kutupa. We could have won the fight then.
Right. With us, one message you got cracked now, FM Ramen Rapper. It's good in your farm, Samuel Asensu watching you live from Libreville, Gabon. For those NDC members always say, Abam Papa Bain. Here, you said you are fighting galamsey, but you are buying gold from these galamseyers. Shame on to you. Good evening, Ofa. You see the man there has used all his time to talk about Wambia, but I'll tell him to... Okay.
It's true.
Okay, Ofa, good evening. My question is, so where is the galamsey gold? Who buy the galamsey gold? Are the buyers of galamsey gold Ghanaians or foreigners? Galamsey can never be stopped in this country. NDC is a hypocritical party. From Clement in Dwabeng, Abetinim. Good evening, Kessben host. I am David from Pandai. Is regretting to be listening to this NDC communicator. Pandai, I iced here now. Pandai is no more for NDC. We are ready to vote Matthew, not because he is MPP, but his works. Okay. Come out, can they mean answer my kind? Good evening, Offer. I'm Sir Isaac from Takwa. Did I hear the NDC guy on your panel say MPP disrespect the judiciary? What happened? What hasn't NDC said about Supreme Court? They disparaded them by calling them unanimous FC. You don't have short memory, as Mahama said to Ghanaians. Right. Please, good evening. Tell the NDC man to keep quiet because even President Mahama did the same thing. The judiciary did the same thing to, I think that's what you want to say, to the judiciary when NPP was in power. My name is Joseph. Offer, good evening. I'm really enjoying the program, but the NDC rep is making it difficult to follow because he keeps repeating, I count about 121 times. Is that so? Come on. Sir, Moraka, you know 121. I see. Good evening. My name is Mr. Andy Ufuridako from Eastern Region, Abonse. Please tell President Mahama that Ghana does not belong to NDC people. Ghana belongs to all Ghanaians. Tell the wicked president he will destroy Ghana. Hypocrite president. These words are very strong. But the light bill is killing me these days, so I'm paying more than 600 a month. Previously, I was paying 150. Charge from 150 to 600. Host, good evening. The NDC rep is new side and then just one card you do, Masa. For good evening, I think some people make it seem as though the Muslim community cannot be questioned, and policies often appear to favor protecting Muslim practice while overlooking Christian values. Ghana already has Islamic schools, so if someone prefers a fully Islamic environment, those options exist. Many Muslim students choose Christian schools because of the discipline and strong structures in place. Yet, these same structures are now being challenged. Christians must remain alert and stand firm for the principles that guide their schools. Kwesi Eduhine from Ewiase. Of our place, this is audophobia. At Bokrom Zongo, I don't agree with lawyer because now a day it was chosen by Rofono. The Rofo is not Brof rising. Anyway. Good evening, Golden Boy Anas Mampontin. The NPP small minority group at Parliament have no message. What they are doing in Parliament is boycott, walkout, press conference instead of support the NDC government to develop the nation. Now you see the hypocrite of the NPP MP. So the NPP communicators and their so-called serial callers should stop. Oh, okay, this is a message you keep on writing. Good evening. Have you asked yourself how many Muslim mission hospitals do we have in Ghana? Come to my area and see every house has a mosque in front of it. And when Christians do collection and fundraising to build their institutions, you want to dictate to them what they should do. We Christians have tolerated this for long. OPK. Teacher Bonte from Asante Achemfu say, good evening, tell the parents of that student. They knew it was a Methodist school and they sent their word. If you go to Rome, you do what Romans do. My regards to Reverend Ankoma Nyako Nicholas. Okay. Good evening, Wofa Kofi. NDC and NPP are the same. My name is Frimpong from Mamponte. What's your name? Sir, okay. Hello, I'm Isaac from Canada. Gold mining is also done in Western world. It's only in African continent that isn't mining the right way. It's a shame. I agree with you 100%. Good evening, Wofa. Please tell the NPP man that those Galamsey allegations are being investigated by the current government. What happened to all those Galamsey issues that occurred during the NPP government? No investigation was done about it. For instance, a parliamentary candidate saying, we do not stop Galamsey to do today or tomorrow. NPP, never again. Governor Wofa, please ask the NDC man that when President Mahama is in office, did he say something called gold ball, or even how many reserve of gold did he buy? Thank God that the evil he thinks about the nation put in buffer. Kofi Chia from Asimbiku. Okay, so Moro, your last comment. In 3 minutes.
President Mahama can't be biada say about the declare state of emergency. Doctor, please.
Doctor, man, this is okay, sir. Okay.
Sir. He said it. He quoted him, severally. President Mahama, at the assembly when he made the press, he was coming from a background where President Akufo-Addo banned all forms of money for almost 2 years. But the assembly, even it was President Akufo-Addo's time, and you're calling for state of emergency. Now, yaba bedroy, baby yaba bedroy. Say obi a calling for state of emergency and now banning for 2 years. Now you buy a sign we cannot use the same method. and then expect a different result. This time around, this is what I put on table. And stakeholders are Dr. Owan Kobi, but on call for no call and so okay. This is what we also have. And also, so say I can't see holding it up cry. Good sector, and you see he never mentioned Galamsey. What's the mining sector non employee ni passe how we Ghana for offer me what? Now, doctor, don't be disingenuous. Dear President Mohamed can entrana. You didn't have any solution when you were there. In 8 years to fight Galamsey. More time na mokofa, you know, the mining in the forest.
What last year say?
Near me be pass me can say. Kofa, Doctor Kasa wo Kasa President Mohamed say state of emergency and so on and so forth. Na Galamsey nti any ade any President Mohamed never said Galamsey. What say mining sector? Now what can mining sector offer? And your friend is a small scale mining, any large scale mining. And I'm a and you mona gold, board. Emma among 4 lines is say omonto gold in from. And I offer me boy. Yenti kromo say na gold board. Ono ankasa the tax force our for me. I'm making arrest of Nkofo and smuggle gold outside the country. Now if you cry President Akufo-Addo time, Abrantia no was say omo bua me smuggle gold they call amonone no. President Akufo-Addo na ne lawyer no. What's now? And the disingenuous now make these are some of the things may describe a dog as disingenuous and all that. Now Obian son to the dog can say NDC and for that matter, President Mama can say a calling for state of emergency. Where in our manifesto did we ascribe and answer you can't say you be calling for state of emergency?
All right, but there
was no way in our manifesto.
Right. Okay. No.
Offer me that same where make us me say President Mahama in opposition said, and I quote, I will grant amnesty to all the young men who have been convicted for their involvement in Galamsey. I never said President so obey declare state of emergency. I quoted This is what the president said. This is what the president said. And his this is what I quoted. And his appointees called for state of emergency. And I mentioned their names and what they said exactly, verbatim. 2, may say president meeting CSOs and president meeting the press. In my submission, I never mentioned CSOs.
But the president never mentioned Galamsey.
That is of a catcher or Kasami respect the viewers. Me o kasa na metre. In this rebate, write it down. Don't interject me. Me say offer President MET CSOs or MET press. My submission, I made reference to President meeting press.
You never said any press.
President meeting the press. He mentioned 2 things. Or say, Ghana, yenya 6 billion from Galamsey. And after all, it is our environment they are destroying. These were his words, not mine. 2, Osaka said, there were about 4 million young people involved. And you cannot just go and stop it. And we'll be bisano about IGP task force. And so one meeting the press. So here he wouldn't contest the meeting. Obi bisa president kra about Obi bisa president kra about say IGP task force no. Then we are calling off. So kai say national organizer call akotia koye campaign. Oka say IGP task force no. It is alleged say omo extort sike free minus no president no input stop. Omiti press no be bisa na sa asem no. And the president's response was they were osina omo trespassing. This is the exact word.
Right.
Now omo trespassing baby any kwase omo ko. So these were his words.
Right. But I say
President Mahama needs the commitment. He
But I
doesn't
say-
have the commitment to fight galamsey.
Right.
Because of their track record. Because for you to stand on national television and tell the whole nation,
President Mahama never said
6
galamsey.
billion a year free
He
galamsey.
never said galamsey.
The question was direct.
right. I was for
One baby, one better.
say galamsey assembly nya be mu nko ade a na agbobese ajegon NDC MPP we say wo na anko ni ye ma omanfo no nyina ensum na ba bi a wote bia na nke ye mo asebe ye omo se enso ni esase no yeso ye ma enimere won so te Mori Akubu nka kasama NDC na Dr. Enoch Champo lecturer KNS also a NPP ni ampa